Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Joe Noonan. I'm a director of software product management at Unitrends and extremely excited to be talking with our partners today to really bring to you a brand new way for our partners to be able to sell Unitrends backup and disaster recovery software. Ultimately, sell it faster, simpler, and more effectively to help you hit your revenue goals. And that's obviously the key thing we all want here. So our news for you here today is honestly what we're looking to do here. These are major changes. This is ultimately, we have a software product called Unitrends Enterprise Backup. And this is ultimately with the packaging and pricing changes here, we're looking at basically a relaunch of this particular product. It really represents a big shift in our overall determination as a company to be very successful with our software-only products and make UEB a critical piece of our partners' portfolio that they drive with our customers. But most importantly, honestly, we think these changes are going to help our partners be successful with acquiring customers faster, more effectively, and arming them with the tools to build deals and grow. Now, I know these are really, really big claims, but we truly think we can achieve these. But in order to do so, we need to make things simpler for our partners to sell our value, especially with our software, and help you learn how to sell it quickly and effectively. And really, of course, make sure we communicate very well where it drives a compelling advantage against our competitors. Now, whether you're the type of partner that drives high velocity business and you just want to do lots and lots of quick, smaller transactions, or whether you want to spend more time building higher value relationship building types of deals that include add-ons with cloud services, maybe other services that you offer from a hardware perspective or integration perspective, regardless of the type of partner and the way that you like to work deals with customers and build value for your business, we think that this new package is going to be great for all those types of transactions. And don't forget, the important thing here is that the on-premise software, this isn't the end game anymore when it comes to data protection and disaster recovery. Cloud and recurring revenue, these things are key these days. And Unitrends Enterprise Backup is a fully integrated gateway to driving that high value recurring revenue with cloud services. So after our intro there, let's take a look at our agenda very quickly. We'll run through the strategy. We can provide some comparisons on how things are today. Then we're going to spend a good amount of time talking through how you can position it and win, of course. And then finally help you understand what's next and where to go from here. Now, simplification is a really big part of all this, and we'll get into the simplification piece a little bit later because we'll talk about exactly what we're doing. But naturally, in order to be able to move deals quickly, things have to be simple. And we haven't done a great job of that today, to be honest, with our software product pricing and packaging, and we're looking to make a big change here. Now, disruption is really what we're talking about here is not that we're trying to make our products cheap. We're really talking about the amount of functionality that we're packing into a very compelling and affordable price, and price points that obviously span low to high end. We've struggled a little bit selling Unitrends Enterprise Backup in that low end market. It hasn't been something that we've served very well in the past. We're sorry about that, and we want to make sure that we make amends for that with something that we believe is going to be much, much stronger to be able to take to those types of customers going forward. Now, we also wanted to make sure that there are very, very clear value points, areas where you have the ability to choose to try to move the deal quickly or take your time and sell additional value with more functionality. And then most importantly, of course, you can use this right now. This pricing is available, but one thing I do want to point out is not to be worried that this is not going to be disruptive to your existing business. We're not going to terminate existing SKUs. We are making big, big changes, and there are new ways to sell UEB. We're not going to remove the current ways for quite a while to make sure that you can continue to obviously handle existing customers on the older licensing, handle existing outstanding quotes and things like that you're working today. But naturally, this is available today for new customers, and we certainly expect that you're going to want to use this with new customers right away. Now, first, let's level set a little bit on UEB pricing today. So there's two ways to sell it. And it's not evil that there's two ways to sell it, but it's just complex. We're already doing a disservice. But the two ways to sell it are resource-based or capacity-based. So Protective Resource had 6 options. You could protect hypervisor sockets, servers. We had application add-ons. We had application bundles. You had NAS licenses, NDMP. Lots of things that kind of look like features, and you had to license each one individually. And then you have capacity licensing, which is a little bit simpler, right? A terabyte is a terabyte. And in that terabyte license, it didn't matter what type of data it was, we could protect and recover it. But unfortunately, a big part of the issue here was that capacity licensing just, unfortunately, the pricing just never really worked, especially for smaller businesses. So we really created a lot of complexity, too many options, lots of considerations here. And that's a big part of what we're going to be solving going forward. Just to highlight this a little bit, the good and the bad, and obviously where we're going. Obviously Unitrends software it fits really well in heterogeneous environments. If you have VMware, some physical servers, Exchange and SQL types of applications and databases, in these types of scenarios, we fit perfectly. From a functionality perspective, this is our wheelhouse. Now, prior to the new packaging and the current model that you have with Unitrends Enterprise Backup, if you went the resource-based route, you'd be looking at $21K MSRP. For the sockets that you're selling into the VMware environment, you would have no ability to do deep virtualization, which is a set of functionality that we like to kind of brand with that term, really meaning that you can not only protect at the hypervisor level, but also leverage agents to protect virtual machines at the guest level and applications at the guest level. Because there's obviously a lot of flexibility that and value add to being able to have those multiple ways of protecting, whether you're in the guest or outside using a hypervisor. You wouldn't be able to leverage that at all in the current model. We also have a great product called Reliable DR that integrates with our backup product UEB and offers automated recovery testing and SLA proof. You wouldn't be able to leverage that. If you wanted to leverage that, it's an add-on for $18K. So in the end, what you find yourself doing is you have a lot of complexity. You're not able to take full value of the functionality that we bring. And in the end, this can get pretty costly. And if you do want to try to pitch this and you're really serious about it, you're probably looking at dealing with a lot of discounts and things like that that drive margin down. Now, one of our competitors, they're a virtual only competitor. They can come in and they don't offer as much, but they're simpler. They can come in here, 19K, cover the virtual environment, say use somebody else for physical or wherever you already have. They may not have all the functionality needed, but they can move quickly and give you a decent price. Now, where we're going with this new packaging is totally different. We're going to be able in a scenario like this to drive the full capabilities of virtual plus physical protection, all the deep virtual protection we talked about by being able to put agents on VMs if you need to for certain machines. For 15K, get in, get out, no need for heavy discounts. This is just literally the MSRP. And really by eliminating a lot of that friction around selling and bringing the value into the packaging and pricing, we're making the deal much simpler. And what you're going to be able to do now is not have to spend so much time on the on-premise piece, but this will help you set up that conversation for more higher value disaster recovery discussions, things around cloud-related activities, all that good stuff that Unitrends obviously integrates with very, very well and can help you. All right, so this is kind of a training, so we'll get into some of the details here. We want to make sure you understand exactly what this new packaging and pricing looks like. So there's three pretty easy components to it all. First, there's an edition. We have Essentials, Standard, Enterprise, and Enterprise Plus. 4 editions, all scaling up from price and functionality on the low end all the way to the high end. We're only going to have 2 resource licenses at this point. Notice capacity licensing is gone in this new model. Again, we're not terminating it. You can still use the older SKUs, but in this new model with the additions and the particular scalable price points we have here, you just have 2 simple resources. You have a socket, and that covers everything in a hypervisor environment. If you want to run agents on virtual machines, socket licenses will cover it. If you want to do hypervisor level backups, socket licenses will cover it. Now, a server is also very cut and dry. A server is going to protect any physical machine that's running a bare metal operating system like Windows or Linux or any of the 200 plus operating systems that we support. And then, of course, you'll have a 1, 3, or 5 year support term that you can select, and all the support terms are 24/7. And that's obviously been a big differentiator for Unitrends is our 98% customer satisfaction rating, driven in part in a big way by our support. So a quick little example, I like this slide because it gives you a snippet from the price book itself. But you can see here, this particular example is a socket license of Essentials Edition, support term 1 year. You see that very clearly in the price book. And note here that the MSRP is the same for the server license or the socket license, making it even simpler. And obviously you can see a very compelling price point at $299 a socket there. And when you kind of lay out the pricing across all the editions, you can really see how we're stretching that pricing and packaging from all the way down to that simple high velocity low end deal at $299 to something that you can build a lot of value with our Enterprise Plus of $14.99 per server or per socket. Now, a couple of key points here to note. At UEB Essentials, look at that $299 price. Now, our current socket price today for UEB is $12.99. All it does is protect hypervisor level protection at the VM for VMs. You can't put any agents in any virtual machines to do guest level protection. With our Essentials edition, and for all of these editions, you'll be able to use unlimited agent-based capabilities in those virtual machines. Now, the functionality is going to grow from Essentials to Enterprise Plus, even with what you can do at the guest level. But you'll be able to protect at the guest level if you need to for any virtual machine that's protected by that socket license. So that's a core part of being able to drive value in the virtual environment with our pricing and packaging. Now, a couple other points here. UEB Essentials does do VMware and Hyper-V, hypervisor level protection. It does have that unlimited deep virtualization protection for files on virtual machines. All of these editions can can integrate with the Unitrends Cloud for the storage and disaster recovery services. Essentials is the only one that does have a limit. Because of that low-end pricing, there is a limit of up to 10 resources per deal. So that's any combination of sockets or servers. You can only have up to 10 of them per customer environment. Standard, now the key thing we're adding in Standard Edition above that basic Essentials protection is that you can now get second site WAN optimized backup copies. Most competitors are offering $2,000 or more a socket to have good replication that's WAN optimized. We offer it in our Standard Edition licensing at $499. Now the key thing to add over top of Standard with our Enterprise license is our Enterprise application protection. So what we're talking about here is being able to protect at the application or database level, SQL Server, Oracle, SharePoint, and Microsoft Exchange. Core enterprise apps, protecting them at and recovering them at the application level. And then for Enterprise Plus, we add in NDMP, which is obviously something that we have as a scalable enterprise feature for network attached storage, NetApp, and EMC arrays. But the big thing that really goes into Enterprise Plus here is unlimited reliable DR. Reliable DR is our portfolio product that integrates with UEB, and it does automated recovery testing and failover, and really delivers what we call recovery assurance, which is that proof that recovery is going to be successful and within your SLAs. This is a separate product today. Today it's an add-on. You typically spend about $450 per VM. Now you're getting it unlimited with your Enterprise Plus Edition server or socket. And by the way, today this is a virtual only solution. By the end of this year, this will support physical and virtual. So it won't just help socket licenses, it'll help server licenses very soon. Now, we're not expected to visualize or go through all the specific details here of everything in this sheet. The important message here is that this data, this chart, with the pricing, the additions, transparency is critical. Some partners may be a little uneasy with having pricing on the website, but it's becoming too common in our industry, and our competitors all have their pricing on the websites. It really just helps move deals quickly, makes things transparent. Also provides a critical reference on the packaging itself. Right? This is going to be available for everybody to see. Users, partners, folks can understand exactly what's needed for a particular environment and what the price point is. And then you can leverage, obviously, the sales process to build the deal from there, not just with the on-premise piece and the software here, but also with things like cloud. And that's a good segue in here to some of the related software and services, right? Forever Cloud is a Unitrends Cloud offering that does long-term retention. This is available, and it will be available worldwide very soon. It's available in North America today. But ultimately, this is a great add-on for anyone that doesn't have a secondary site, wants to protect data off-site and get long-term retention. Now that data that's offsite can also be extended in the Unitrends cloud to offer disaster recovery as a service, where we can spin up either virtual or physical machines in the Unitrends cloud within 1 hour SLA. Now, there is an added license here that I do want to make sure that everybody understands that it's still there, and we're making it much more compelling. The Recovery Series, which is our all-in-one hardware appliance, that physical appliance can do on-premise backup, and it can do all the things that our software UEB can do, obviously, but we pre-package all the hardware and software together for one throat to choke. Now, it can replicate to an instance of just our software at another site, whether our software is a virtual appliance or whether it's running on bare metal. So that third bullet really talks about that use case where we can replicate from the Recovery Series to UEB. We do have a license for that. It's capacity-based. It'll still be capacity-based. But today, it's almost $4,000 per terabyte. We're reducing that in a big, big way to make it much more competitive. And the key thing there is that this is a pretty differentiated feature. You don't see a lot of vendors that can have all-in-one physical appliances plus software and use them at two different sites in a disaster recovery scenario like this. So Unitrends is pretty unique here. But what we're doing with this new price reduction is we're going to make sure that you can fit this type of solution into customer environments much more simply, right? The Recovery Series is an awesome solution. But because it is hardware and software, people see the value of that as being more expensive than a software-only solution. And this price reduction for RS to UEB replication is going to provide that very simple stepping stone of value to say, listen, do you want to recover? You want to replicate to another site? I can give you another box. And for a certain price, that'll be great. But if you don't have the budget for that and you have your own hardware, I have a software offering here that'll fit your budget much more nicely than it does today. And of course, installation services are available for all 4 editions. They're the same service SKUs that we have today. If you have any questions, obviously contact your Unitrends account representative, and they'll obviously help you and figure out the right SKUs for services. So very quickly, just want to spend a little bit of time talking about how we see this new packaging comparing to our competitors in the industry, and how you'll ultimately be able to leverage them to win deals against competition, against other folks pitching other products. And naturally, we've talked about these core tenets here and why we think we're much more competitive with this new model than we have in the past. And it's so aggressively priced, packed with tons of functionality, and ultimately very easy to understand, right? A socket covers a virtual environment, a server covers your physical environment, and then naturally you pick the edition that you need based on your functionality and your price point. So very quickly, for UEB Essentials, the key things here are that obviously it still protects heterogeneous environments. It includes things like deep virtualization. It includes great functionality, all your recovery functionality, like instant recovery for physical or virtual machines. It's all there. Tons of functionality packed in here. Because it only goes up to 10 sockets, naturally it does have that cap, but most of our competition, when they have a similar type of model of software, they stop at about 6 sockets in a virtual environment. VMware, for instance, has a similar type of model. But some vendors that do backup also have something that stops at 6 sockets. We go all the way up to 10, right? We want to make sure that you can do physical and virtual. And if you want to use all 10 for sockets, naturally, if somebody has between 7 and 10 sockets, it's a no-brainer against those competitive products, because you can still use our small business edition here with Essentials. Now, standard edition. This includes, obviously, we talked a little bit before about this, the second site WAN optimized backup copy. So if you're replicating between sites, you want to do it efficiently. You want to leverage inline deduplication, strong network connections between the appliances, all that good stuff that's there to make sure that you can actually get DR and make that happen on a daily or even much smaller RPO basis. We have that packed into our standard edition. And again, most folks that have functionality that's similar are charging over $2,000 a socket for it. We're giving it to you relatively standard here at $499 a socket. And in the future, we are going to add additional hypervisors into the portfolio for hypervisor level protection. We support VMware and Hyper-V today. Zen Server is going to be supported in version 9. Unitrends has about a few thousand customers running Zen Server today waiting on this. We're really excited to get that out to folks this year. And that'll be included in the standard edition at a very, very compelling price point. Now, as we look into our more value sale, right? Because let's face it, Essentials and Standard Edition, those are really more high velocity sales. You want to be able to get in and close those deals quickly. And naturally, if you want to build those deals up with offsite services around cloud and disaster recovery, that's perfect, right? Most of those smaller businesses don't have a secondary site. Works out great. Now, if you also want to sell value within the software functionality itself, Enterprise and Enterprise Plus, this is really where it happens. Right? With Enterprise Edition, let's face it, if it's a physical machine running SQL or Exchange, you got to have Enterprise Edition. It's the only way you're going to be able to protect SQL and Exchange. But in a virtual environment, you might actually be able to protect a database just fine at the VM level. What you get out of the application-specific protection here in Enterprise Edition is the ability to ultimately back up, usually faster, more frequently with less impact on the application itself. And ultimately, the big thing you get there is less data loss in an outage. Right? So those are enterprise capabilities that are great for those types of applications, especially for bigger customers. Now, with Enterprise Plus, you get the key thing here being reliable DR, our recovery automation product. ESG did some great research, which is worth quoting here. And what they pointed out was that the number one IT leadership mandate. So most of the people that we sell into, their boss. What IT leadership they're mandating on their particular direct reports is that they increase the reliability of backup and recovery. But the number one challenge they're facing is cost. Reliable DR with this Enterprise Plus edition with UEB is the perfect solution for this. It automates recovery testing, shows complete proof that the testing was successful and that it'll meet the specific SLAs that were set by the company. And that gets emailed or sent directly to the IT leadership. All right, so you can't help an admin offload that risk and make their bosses happy any more than what you can with functionality like this. And now it's not a separate product. It's basically sold as a feature of UEB Enterprise Plus. So just touching on a few more selling areas here, right? This is naturally, again, it's not just about the on-premise software. And what we're not doing here is just trying to obviously, discount our software or deliver it at a much lower price. We're looking to really deliver a lot more value. The product already itself is being recognized all throughout the industry. DCIG, Infotech, even Gartner, we're in the Magic Quadrant now. The Unitrends Enterprise Backup software is driving tons of this, including its integrated capabilities with reliable DR. The key thing here now is we're actually enabling you to sell it easier and better than what you've been able to in the past. And again, the conversation is not just about on-premise backup. What we're trying to do is remove friction around selling on-premise backup so that you can have more high-value discussions around cloud, disaster recovery, things like that, so that naturally you can help people with a full strategy and not just get a point product into their environment. Now, listen, we're more than happy to sell a lot of software if you just want to move point products at a high velocity, and this is going to help you there as well. But we want to make sure that we're covering folks that are also looking to do a little bit more relationship selling and more strategic selling for entire solutions. And that obviously goes into the process around selling solutions, right? Now it's all about learning customer pain points and their business objectives, understanding how overall portfolio solutions from your vendors like Unitrends are able to deliver. And a big thing around being able to build out, especially with these cloud and DR solutions, recurring revenue and being able to monitor that revenue for growth. I mean, these are high value dollars, more value than a perpetual license that recurring revenue dollar is. And naturally, we all love that to grow our businesses, and we want to make sure our partners can take advantage of that in a really big way with this new packaging and pricing. So as we wrap up here, just want to make sure that everyone had a great background on what we were launching. Hopefully it felt compelling and you're ready to use this in these deals against competitors that are coming into your customer environments. You now have a great option for them to handle their data protection and disaster recovery capabilities. So please do become familiar with the strategy. This is effective September 1st. If you have any questions whatsoever, or if some of the materials may not be available on the partner portal right away, please reach out to your account manager with any questions you have. And again, use this immediately with new customers if you're ready. But this is not going to terminate any existing SKUs. So It won't disrupt current business that you have going on, but this is available for use with the new customers immediately. We want you to use this with new customers. And for existing customers that are out there, we'll be talking about this later. We'll be providing more materials on this, but we're going to have some great promotions. The first one being our Easy Pass promotion, which will help folks move or migrate from whatever current Unitrends software product they have into this new edition-based model that we're launching. And that concludes the presentation. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Happy selling, and we look forward to hearing from you and obviously doing business with you in the future.